In 2024, here's a big question. Do you want a cutting garden or do you want a flower farm? Because honestly, they're two very different things. Hi, I'm Kristen and I run the flower farm Shifting Blooms as well as the gardening website Shifting Roots. And this was my third year of flower farming. I'm now going into my fourth year and I have lots of lessons to share with you guys and to maybe help you make some of your own decisions on whether you want a cutting garden or a flower farm. There's honestly no right or wrong answer. It is whatever works for you. Running this flower farm is not my first time being self-employed. I actually ran a music business. Prior to this, I was a voice teacher. Haha, voice teacher who has no voice currently. I've been sick forever, it feels like. But the third year of any small business really is a make or break year. And I feel like if I hadn't run a business previous to this year might have actually broke me. 2023 was really rough for business owners. All of the weddings I expected to come in, all of like the ebook sales, the website traffic that I thought I would have, it was definitely lower than it had been. And you know, times are really tough for everyone. So people were generally just not spending as much as they were. And quite honestly, I feel like it's a huge accomplishment this year in business to stay the same, or maybe even only have fallen a little bit, but still being able to keep going, because that was a rough year. So the first lesson that I learned this year is cut what needs to be cut. This can count for both in the flower farm and just in your business in general. And for me, and the flower farm, that meant that I just really brought home how if something was ready to be cut, you just need to cut it. Because waiting for some magical day when you need it or to save it for something means that that plant can't produce another bloom. Just one second. We have a little visitor here. These cats follow me everywhere, I swear. Now in my business, I feel like I'm still mostly going to be doing kind of the same things I was doing, but I really did kind of want to do events, and I feel like that's the thing that I am cutting. And if you've watched the last video that I produced, I also am cutting about half of my markets. So since I'm cutting something, I also decided I really want to double down on weddings. So if you're getting a bouquet CSA from me, just know that it could be very wedding themed. But I love weddings so much and I'm just so passionate about them. So that's what I really want to do. And in my perfect world, if I could have 2 weddings every single weekend that it's feasible to with our flowers, I would be quite happy with that. Another lesson is to really drill down on like what works and what actually doesn't work for you, and just drop the things that don't work. For me, one of those things is dahlias. Like, while I'm still gonna plant dahlias, I'm just not gonna obsess over them. We have a lovely grower here, Melissa of Backroad Blossoms, who grows amazing dahlias. So at least for my wedding work, I know that if my dahlias aren't looking great, that's fine. I'm just gonna order from her. Same thing, many of you who've watched the channel know that like I don't grow a lot of sunflowers just because Monica 5 minutes down the road grows tons of sunflowers and she does a beautiful job of it. So why would I worry? This lesson also bled into the markets a bit. I mentioned in my last video how I had an equation, how like, you know, the time it took to prepare for the market, the childcare and all of that divided by how much I actually made it whether a market was worth it for me or not. So that's why I'm going to be dropping some markets. Oh, don't mind the cat. And in a way, I feel sad about dropping those markets because I really do enjoy being out there. But you know, you've got to ultimately decide what's worth your time and what's not. I'm going to show you this ridiculous that is behind me. Hello. Hey, no drinking my coffee. We have all of these cats who think that they need to be with me while I'm doing this video. Oh, I see you, Mama Cat. On a side note, if you want to see these cats pretending like they're chickens, you'll definitely want to check out my second channel, The Chicken Cure. For right now, it's just a shorts only channel because I can't make a ton of long form videos yet, but hopefully we will get there. Anyway, the next lesson I learned was to accept help. So this year I had both a writer for the Shifting Roots side of things, and I also had a very dedicated garden helper, and I also had a garden helper last year. And really, I often joke that like the business would have been a bunch of weeds and me crying if I didn't have that kind of help, or if I didn't have Sierra the writer. It would have just, there would have been no new posts. Social media would have barely happened. and it just kind of would have been a disaster. Now, maybe for you in your operation, help doesn't look like that. Help might be childcare, or help might be somebody making meals for you or doing deliveries or whatever, but however help looks, at some point you're probably going to need some and you should take it. The next one is learn to get early flowers. This year I had beautiful flowers in July. I actually had really decent flowers by the end of June, and most people in my zone 3 climate with a short growing season do not have that, and that's because for the last 5-6 years I've been experimenting with how to push the seasons, and like the sooner you can do that and be in flowers, especially if you live in an area where there's lots of other flower farmers and there's lots of competition, if you can do something like that to stand out, like, it really helps. So if you're interested in learning, oh, you are such a little turkey. If you are interested in learning about how to do flowers earlier in zones like 2 to 5, I am coming out with an ebook. It should be available on February 1st, so watch for details on that. The next lesson is that soil health is so important. And I know that soil health isn't one of those things that we often think is say the fun thing to think about in our garden, because we always want to think about the pretty flowers and what we're going to grow. If you have bad soil, it's really going to limit you in how much you can grow. So we're still making amendments. Our soil is still not perfect by any means, but now after the 3rd year, and technically the 4th because we were gardening here before, you can really notice a difference in our soil health, and it's really starting to get there. And finally, the last lesson is that having a relationship with your followers and customers is everything. If that relationship is on social media, or if it's through an email list, or if you just do regular in-person markets and you see the same people over and over, that relationship is so key to having a good business. I mean, I would argue it's almost more important than growing perfect flowers. Actually, it is more important than growing perfect flowers. So whatever you can do in 2024, when people are still feeling really strapped financially, to make sure that you do have a good relationship with your customers, do it. So that is all of my standing on my soapbox for today. My voice is sort of starting to wear out, so I think that's all I've got in me, but I hope you found this video helpful, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, friends. You want to say bye-bye? Miss Oreo. Yeah. You want to say bye-bye? Yeah, look how cute you two are.